aren't they?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Oh, look at this. It's got maggots in there.
Okay.
It's tankers.
Check. Hey, B. 1, 2, 3.
Next to Billy, this is an actor-producer known for Slaughterhouse, House Call, oh no, what is this? House Call, it's just House Call. And, of course, Circus of the Dead. And you probably recognize Parrish Randall from all the work he's done out here for Cult Classic. Please welcome Parrish Randall. We also have this gentleman right here. He's a producer, a writer, director, actor, and a horror enthusiast. This is something about French fries. What'd you say, Lance? Whataburger French fries. I heard there was a fanny pack with French fries, but I don't see it, so that's a letdown a little bit, but it's okay. You know, for Pool Party Massacre, Scared to Death, Astro Zombies and 4 Invaders from Cyberspace, please welcome Drew Marvick.
Woo!
Oh, he's the second guy with the cup, so the two guys, I don't know where the cup is. That's the empty chair. Lance has the cup. Okay, here's our final guest coming up. You may know this actor passing out candy from his role as...
When you're late, you have to make up for it.
His role as Skinhead, gang member in Back to the Future 1 and 2. He was a member of Diff's gang. He also appeared in Back to the Future 3 as a member of Needles' gang. JJ has had lots of film roles. He starred in Fire with Fire. He also was in The Principal. And, most notably to me anyway, 976 Evil.
Yeah.
Please welcome JJ Cohen.
Woo! Yeah.
So the way that, let's run this by, let me ask these gentlemen a few questions, and then if you guys have questions, I'm going to open it up at the end. You're a haunt owner out in Odessa, Texas.
Yes.
Did running a haunt, producing a haunt, lead you into filmmaking? You've kind of been a director for many years in that world, so can you tell us how that...
No, totally 100%. I got my start in elementary school. The mom was like the PTA president, right? So I just started volunteering, helping with the haunt in the elementary school, and then I really liked it, you know. And then the VHS revolution kind of come out, and then I just started renting every movie I could on horror movies. And I just said, you know, back then it's not like you could use your phone or you didn't own a camera or nothing, so it was just living these horror movies through haunted houses and stuff. So I kind of went that way. And then took a job at a TV station to learn to edit, shoot, and all this kind of stuff. And but the haunted house is good because of the detail. I just learned detail, you know, and it gives you the timing and all this kind of stuff of what you're looking for. So yeah, it does help. It all goes hand in hand.
Character development as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's where Circus of the Dead comes from. Is they were well, Dollboy originally was a character. Anybody seen Dollboy before? Yeah. We had the mask, and the brother-in-law, Sergio, said he's going to wear the coveralls or the overalls, and I was like, way too cliche. And I remember AC/DC was on the radio, and I thought Angus Young and the Schoolboy thing, and it's like, there you got Dollboy. It was that easy. And we put him in the haunted house, and everybody was reacting and just loved it. And I said, well, let's do a short of this and just test it out and see what it does. We did the short in 2009, and to date, it's been in like 150 or 60 film festivals. It's like really weird how many it's been, but I quit paying for them after the first year because I said, you know, I didn't know what it was doing for it, but it just got so popular, it kind of took a life of its own. But doing these things, like there's a lot of film festivals, and they're all really good too, but getting out to the conventions and meeting the fans and stuff and shaking their hands and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Shaking babies and kissing hands. And that's what you want to do because it's like the grassroots campaign. You know, all these indie directors and stuff, you've got to start there. But it's like, I see so many fans and stuff that I call them friends, okay? And those friends become family. Even though I butcher their names, right, Lindsay? But when you do a convention, your brain gets pretty messed up. But anyway, that's who it is, because these people love you, and I feel like I have an obligation to give them something really, really, really good. So I just try not to phone it in. So.
I know you're always a favorite at these conventions, so
No,
thank you for coming again, and congratulations on signing with Dread Central.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's awesome
Thank you.
with the re-release of your movie.
Hey, just shut your mouth.
Speaking of Circus of the Dead for Parrish, so you played Donald Johnson, and I
Right.
know initially that wasn't the role you were up for. So my question, it's a two-parter. One, can you give us a brief description of Donald Johnson? And then two, tell us how you ended up with that role.
Okay, well, you know, I was born in Texas where we have guns and we don't take shit off anybody who comes through our door. So I read Don and I thought, this character is really unique in two ways. A, he's one I want to play because the range of emotions that as an actor I would get to play, they were very unique for a male character. But then I looked and I thought, boy, is he a wuss. So I cleaned it up. Okay. But bottom line, it was a really well-written script. Don's a guy, he's kind of a milquetoast guy. In no way is he prepared to go to bat for his family in the way that he ends up having to. So he crumbles, you know? And so you asked initially about that not being the first role I was up for. Initially, Billy contacted me and we had met at another convention, I guess, probably 2 or 3 years earlier.
An Ambler convention.
Yeah. Anyway, so he wanted me for the role of Detective Roper, okay? Cowboy hat wearing guy, and I'm all about that. In a lot of my film roles, I've had to play the cowboy. But I read, like I said, the entire script, and I really liked that role of Don. And so I thought, what the hell will I ask? I called Billy and I said, you know, I'm thrilled to be playing Roper, but what about Don? He said, well, it's already cast, you know. And so I said, well, here's the deal. You know, do you mind if I go ahead and take an audition as Don, just to send in? Because you've never really seen me play a character like Don, one who emotionally crumbles, etc. I said, let me show you what I can do so that in the future, your next film or your next, if you have another role like that, I'd like for you to, you know, think of it. He said, sure. So I sent in really an audition tape, planning to play Roper, but an extra tape as Don. And so I'm getting ready. I go to the airport. They're flying me out on a Friday. And I'm thinking I'm prepared for Roper, you know, the detective. And as I'm going through airport security, my phone rings and I look down, it's Billy. And I answer the call and he says, there's been a change of plans. He said, the actor that was to play Don is no longer with the production. Would you like to play him? And I was like, hell yes, you know. And I said, how long will I have to prepare the role? I mean, because you know, he's a pretty complex character emotionally. Billy said the flight, you know. And so sure enough, as soon as we touched down, we were off to the kitchen scene and the circus. But what got me was, normally when you do independent films, you know, if it mentions a circus in the script, you might kind of show up and there might be a, you know, a circus background like these backgrounds, okay? You never expect in an independent film to pull up and, hell, there's a real circus. This guy had rented a real circus. So I knew then, okay, we're doing something pretty special here, you know? Billy didn't cut any corners and he pulled up.
I was wondering about that. I didn't know if that was part of your haunt or what, but
It was in the haunt parking lot. And now we're talking like that circus filled up, like no lie, like an acre. And it was like nuts. That's how big that tent was. It was huge.
wow. It looked amazing on the screen.
So yeah, that was how it all came about, and very thankful for all the folks that have kept, all you folks who've kept the film alive. You guys have given it this sustained life. Billy and I talk about it a lot. You know, I've done other independent films, they come, they go, but this film has been kept alive by you guys. And like Billy said, you guys are friends. I don't feel comfortable saying fans, I say friends. And you've been friends to me, to Billy, to the circus, and we appreciate you guys. And these events, they give us a chance to say thank you and to meet you guys and to talk and have a good time. So glad to be here.
Well, we thank you for coming out all the time. We really appreciate seeing you. Drew, much like Billy, Pool Party Massacre, I believe that was your first movie, and it had great success and is still in film festivals. And you have worn several hats in the film industry, starting out as a PA. What is the best thing somebody who wants to be on crew can do on set to guarantee that they'll get hired back?
Don't say it.
No, we do things differently in Las Vegas than in Texas. Well, I mean, the best thing you can do on set is work hard if you want to come back. Honestly, I mean, that's the best advice that I give people. Yeah, show up, do your job. Actually, sometimes I say do the job that they need you to do, but you also need to do it before they ask you to do it. That's kind of the biggest thing.
Always be looking out for kind of.
I mean, when you're a PA, that's what about a valuable PA can tell what they're going to need to do at least seconds before they're asked to do it. So, but yeah, you just got to work hard. I mean, it's hard work making a movie.
So your movie came out, or your first movie came out in 2017. How long did that take for you to write it and bring it to set, bring it to film?
Well, it came to fruition very quickly. A friend of mine, I work in film. I work in film for 18 years now, full time. I produce commercials for a living, and I always thought, like, what could I do to make less money and work more, but have fun? And then I figured it out. And so one of the cinematographers that I worked with called me one day and said that he was dying to shoot a feature film, and asked if I knew anyone that had a script ready to go because he wanted to shoot it in 2 weeks. And I lied to him and said, I have a script ready to go right now. So, which I didn't.
You wrote that in 2 weeks? Is this what you're saying?
I wrote it in 1 week and sent it to him, and then luckily he liked what he read and said, hey, can we take more than a week to prep this? And so we ended up delaying it for 6 months, and we kind of polished the script. Because originally with the script I sent him that I wrote in 1 week, literally we would have had 7 days to prep it before our first shooting day. So I was gonna play like I literally was gonna play every male role. So it was gonna be a completely different movie. We had a budget of $11, and I was gonna play every male role, and my mom probably would have played every female role, and we were just gonna make whatever, yeah. It would have been better than the movie I made, actually. But luckily it evolved, and we ended up with a budget and actual actors, and we made the movie that exists.
Clear.
But it took us 6 months once we actually started shooting. It took us 6 months to shoot it because we had to work an independent. When you have almost no budget, you have to work around people's schedules and
on the weekends and whatnot.
You can't pay somebody to block off 30 days. You can't ask someone to block off 30 days if you can't pay them. So we were working around people's schedules, and over that 6 months, people moved out of the state, people lost weight. One actress got a boob job 2 months into the movie. And it's
Was it one of the topless ones?
No, but she's still in a bikini in the Pool Party Massacre. So like, things change dramatically when you have to make a movie over 6 months. So.
Well, you're definitely another guest that everybody really enjoys seeing at these conventions. I'm glad I get to do this panel with you.
I'm glad I get to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're not sick of me yet.
Not yet. JJ, I didn't know when I was researching you, I was surprised to find out that you were in the first episode of V. I don't know who remembers V from the 80s, but I do. She does. That show freaked me the hell out. What was your role?
Mom?
What was your role in V?
I was in one episode of V. It was called The Wildcats. and I was Tony, the leader of the Wildcats. And the aliens had come and killed our parents, and we were gonna fuck them up. And so that's what we did, Texas style.
They like putting you as gang members all the time in all these movies.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I played a lot of bad guys, and I either played the bad guys or I played like the comic relief.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Billy last year at some point, and I said, hey man, I just saw Circus of the Dead and I'd love to be in your next movie. And he says, well, I'm doing this thing, Cowboys from Hell, you know, we can find a role for you, that'd be great, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, sounds great. And he said, now, you know, it's not these high budget movies, you know, that you've been in, you know, Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. Do you remember saying this? And he said, so, you know, it's
not a real movie, he said.
And I said, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I did 3.5 years production. And I started out as a PA. And this was after I had worked as an actor for 10 years. And yeah, I was always taught, don't just stand around. Whenever you're going to do something, walk with intention and take everything personal as a PA. You know, don't step on that cord. Don't step on that cord. You know, it was like always like that kind of thing. And I made it to AD, right? And then I was a boom operator. I worked it a lot. And it was all for like low, you know, no pay, no anything. And people go, well, why would you do that after, you know, having this, you know, great acting career? Or at the time it was a great acting career. And I said, well, because the director and the producer's job were already taken, number one. But number two, you know, I wanted to learn how to make movies. And I wanted to start at the bottom so that I knew. And, you know, I was the original, I don't know if you know this, I was the original choice for Biff in Back to the Future.
I did read that.
And Michael J. Fox was doing a TV series. And they wouldn't let him out of the contract, so they hired Eric Stoltz.
Eric.
And Eric, you don't like Eric?
No, I'm just,
I thought what you said.
it was going to work out if it was Eric, right?
I'm actually more known for the roles I didn't get than the roles I did get. You know, I turned down, oh, this is bad for a horror crowd, you guys are gonna hate me. I turned down Lost Boys.
What role?
I was up for the role of the blonde-haired, one of the blonde-haired vampire guys. It wasn't Kiefer, it wasn't Alex Winter, it was the other blonde-haired guy. Whoever he was. And then I turned down Platoon. I turned down River's Edge. At the time it made sense to do so. Now it's, you know, artistry is weird when you think you're an artist. And I did feel The Godfather, but I was the third choice and only no name for, you know Top Gun? Remember the movie Top Gun? Mm-hmm. So remember Goose? So originally they wanted Nicolas Cage for the role of Goose. He turned it down. And the next one was Anthony Edwards. He took it, but I was the third choice. I was the only no name that was up for the role. And then there was a TV series, last one. There's a TV series called Home to Roost. It was with Jack Nicholson. Not Jack Nicholson. It was with, who were the two guys in, oh God, he's dog face. He's not an attractive man. What's his name? He was in The Odd Couple. Jack Klugman. I say he's a dog face for a reason. You'll see in a second. When you hear the end of the story. Thank you for laughing, sir. I appreciate it. So I went back on this thing like 8 times, and I had an NBC holding contract, which means they paid me. I'm a little bitter about this still. That's why I tell the story. They paid me $2,500 a week to stay home and not audition for anything else. And every time I'd go in, they'd be like, there's our number one, there he is. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a TV series on NBC, this is great, you know? And so I made $11,500. I wound up not getting the role. You wanna know who the role went to? Actually, he was a friend of mine at the time. We don't see each other now, I'm not in Hollywood. But what's a good look? John Stamos.
Oh, wow.
And everybody knows how much John Stamos and Jack Lemmon look alike. And I was going, I was more dog-faced than that good great-looking guy. I should have been his son.
You aren't dog-faced, come on.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm no John Stamos. So, anyway, that's that story. What was the original question?
I don't know, but we learned a lot. Thank you, Drew. You have 34 credits as an actor from what I can see currently on IMDb. What was your favorite role so far?
I didn't like any of them.
What?
No. I know. I also, like JJ, usually play the bad guy, and since I work in horror, I'm often the killer. Actually, people are blown away when I'm not the killer, which has been happening lately for some reason. But I'm always, I'm either a homeless person or a Viking or a sea captain. And if I'm any one of those three, I'm also the killer, is usually the case. So I don't know, it'd be hard for me to pick.
It's hard for you to pick your
It
favorite?
would be hard for me to pick a favorite. I would have to just say, it would definitely not be Pool Party Massacre.
No?
My movie, no.
Why?
Because it was really poorly written.
It always cracks me up when directors and writers, they just can't stand their first projects, and they're always like the cult classics that people for some reason are just love, you know?
It's weird. And actually, in my scene in Pool Party Massacre, we were supposed to shoot, the week that we were supposed to shoot it, we ended up shooting it a week early because of a conflict with with the lead actress. So I went into a day of shooting thinking that it was going to be a nice, easy day. We were just going to shoot some dialogue with her. She was going to fly back to LA, and then the next week she was going to come back. We were going to block our scene, shoot all my scenes, and at lunch that day I found out she would never be able to come back.
Oh, no.
So I had to rewrite everything and shoot my scenes that day after lunch. So what was supposed to be 3 days, a week later we shot in 6 hours that day on the fly.
I can see how that would be upsetting, but let me tell you, I'm serious when I say I'm not kissing your ass. I thought you did the best.
And that's what people tell me every time I'm at a film festival.
Yeah, so.
They're like, oh, I like how you took the most time for your role to make your role special.
It's weird. When you come on screen, it's a different level. It just is.
Yeah, I don't even remember it. It was
You did a good job.
I was in
Take the compliment from you.
I was on a lot of drugs.
Parrish, you are a method actor, correct?
Yes.
So that must have been very difficult, just finding out what you said about not having any time to prepare, really.
It was scary. You know, I was lucky at the beginning of what was the beginning of the pursuit of my career, which has been a lifelong dream. I had an actor that many of you older folks, my age range and such, might remember Joe Baker, who played Buford Pusser and Walking Tall. And he hails from the same small town that I hailed from, and he and my dad went to school together, so all my life I had expressed to people I wanted to get into film, and they would say, who do you think you are? Get out of here, you know? And I inadvertently had a meeting with Joe Baker. He had me over to his uncle's house for lunch one night, or for dinner one night, and he was the first person who said, you can do this. And he sort of guided me through, he got me in classes, etc. And the method approach, which is, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, the Stanislavski's approach is mine. That, you know, you basically, through the classes, you learn which tools you assemble that work for you, and that those become your bag of tricks, okay? And different actors, I'm sure you'll agree, utilize different tools, because what may work for me might not work for Drew. But that does, yes, require time in advance to prepare, you know? What am I going to use for this, and how am I going to bring about that emotion? And Billy gave me a great role, so I was happy, and I sure as hell wasn't going to turn it down, right? But I'm on the flight, and I am like, man, I'm going through these scenes, and the hardest part for me was trying to actually, on the flight, I knew we were going to shoot the scene in the kitchen. It was between myself and Chanel, and it read more like a soap opera scene. And so I had to come up with a reason that Don was unhappy in his marriage, and if you guys have seen Chanel, why would any guy be unhappy with Chanel, right?
Yeah, but if you guys know Chanel, then you'll know why you're unhappy.
I don't listen to this. Anyway, so I came up with the whole backstory really quickly that Don was a guy who, he and Chanel dated, they were high school sweethearts, and he had dreams of going to LA and becoming a rock star, and then she got pregnant and that all fell flat. And in the back of his mind, he resented her in some way for, you know, him not getting to live his dream. So it created this sort of rift in their relationship. So it's a matter of very hurriedly trying to come up with something just to make it work. you know.
Well, it definitely worked, and I have to say, your on-screen chemistry with Bill Oberst Jr. is something to behold.
I will say that, you know, that's when, for me, aside from the circus and the whole production was so professionally managed, I started out doing bit parts of the old Walker, Texas Ranger show. And I hadn't been on set that well managed, that professionally managed since, it's true, since the days of Walker, Texas Ranger. And literally, you know, I thought, wow, this is something. This is really cool, you know. Billy had organized so many great things. What was your original question? I just went blank as shit.
You answered it already. I was asking about your method acting and how that must have been hard. And then we went down the path of your chemistry with Bill.
Okay, Bill Oberst. When Bill got on set, you know, all those scenes between Don and Popcorn, that was the best acting experience of my life. I'll be honest. Because Bill is a method actor. So suddenly, you know, I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying, but when Billy yelled action, Parrish doesn't exist. Bill didn't exist. It was Don and Popcorn in that moment. And that fear and that sadistic attack that you see coming from Popcorn towards Don, it's real. It's palpable. You feel it. Billy saw at one point, I blacked out in the scene where I was, you know, tied up in the clown trailer because you experience the real fear. Someone once told me in acting classes that anything less than the real emotion is cheating. And so you make it real, but you make it real and you can literally go there so deeply, so, I don't know, you go to such dark places that sometimes, I mean, it physiologically affects you. But that's great because the camera gets it and you guys see it, and that's all that matters, you know? So, working with Bill was absolutely 100% the greatest.
Well, Billy,
Now, working with this Bill, yeah, you have to be careful. Don't bend over around him or anything like that.
Don't drop the soap. Billy, it must have been exciting for you to see two actors act out your script, especially of their caliber. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when we were in the clown trailer doing that scene, and it was like he said, it was pretty intense. That's when I knew I had something that was pretty decent. Like I got goosebumps, you know, watching in the monitor. Like that was the moment I said, even at its worst, this is going to be pretty good. So that's when it just really clicked for me. I knew some of that early stuff I wish I had it to do again because I learned a lot then, but it was kind of growing. You know what I mean? That's what happened. Is that it just grew? I mean, that was my only first movie. You know, my first movie, and I haven't done one since. And people say, "What's the holdup?" and all that, but. Other than laughing at stuff, I can't put out something that I'm not proud of. I can go cameo in somebody else's or help them out, but I can't put out something because I'm so afraid it's going to be bad. And if it's bad, it would really, I don't know, it just does something to me. It's probably just insecurity or something like that. But with that said, I'll plug, we're working on with the organizers of this event, we're doing a movie called Headshot. And we're going to film it here. And the whole reason was that is to stick one up the ass of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we're going to film it in Texas and not Bulgaria. So
Yeah. Do it the right way.
Don't keep an eye out for that. We'll be announcing that this summer.
That's great.
Parrish will be involved with us too, but we're going to do it the right way. That's been the big deal is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, and I know this crowd knows too. It's like, it's not like I'm against it, you guys. It's just like, we love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, it's the movie that made me want to get into horror. And it just needs to be paid back the way it should be with the right homage and not, you know, something that's all about money grab or something. So.
Yeah, it's really sad when that happens to a franchise. So it's good to hear that you have got this next one coming out, and your friends or your fans definitely want you to do something. So it's great to hear you're going to do something.
Well, I promise that it's like I said too, is it takes me a long time. Chinese buffets, I'm all about quantity before quality, but movies, I'm all about quality before quality.
I did not expect a Chinese buffet analogy here today on this good day, but I appreciate it.
How you doing? Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
We good. I always want you to check out.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I really do.
What you into?
Spooky Laters.
All right.
That was a fan right there. He knew where I was. Oh, look at this. We got some Leatherface stuff here. There's some whoa. He's gonna get me, man. Oh, I'm gonna squeeze through. Everybody's lined up to get his autograph, man. How cool.
He said, oh, you're an actor. Yeah, what have I seen?
Alrighty, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, y'all stay spooky, my friends.